All right, joining us right now is Lee Carter, strategic communications expert, former Republican strategist and pollster, and also with us, Van Jones, CNN senior political commentator and former Obama administration official. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Lee, what is your take on this new CNN polling coming out this morning? Broadly, Americans disapprove of the U.S. strike, but Republicans behind him.
So from a historical perspective, I agree. It's actually really surprising how negative the polling is. But from where we are right now, we're such a divided country that this reflects exactly what the polling says. If you support the president, you support what he did. If you oppose the president, you oppose what he did. I think the other thing about this poll that's remarkable is it doesn't capture the not sures. I think there's a lot of people who say, okay, I approve of it, but I'm waiting to see what the output's going to be. Those who disapprove it say, I'm really scared that this isn't going to result in peace, and I'm worried about what's going to happen here on American soil. So I think there's a lot of people out there that are saying, let's wait and see. That's not reflected in this poll, and I think we're going to see that in the coming days for sure.
Well, and there's also just plain old uncertainty of where things stand minute to minute. I mean, if just since the beginning of the show this morning. And what happened as we came to air this morning was President Trump furious and fuming to reporters as he was leaving the White House. He wanted a ceasefire in place. He wants it in place. He wants this done. And it seems anything short of him being able to go to NATO with saying either progress or take a victory lap, in his view, is not acceptable. How fraught is this moment, do you think, for him, given what is playing out, the uncertainty of it, and the polling that we're seeing?
Look, Trump wants to be the puppet master and the controller of everything, but you can't control Bibi Netanyahu. You cannot control the Iranian regime. You can't control Putin. And it just turns out that being president of the United States is not being king of the universe or, God emperor of all reality. And so he's going to have to deal with that. I do want to point out, though, that, the difference between ISIS and Iran is ISIS did not have a PR budget. Iran is doing a remarkable job of shaping public perception online. If you look at TikTok, they are presenting themselves as a victim party that had a deal with America, that America tore up the deal, and they've been trying to get along, and now they're being bullied. And that is being very effective. And so ISIS had no PR budget. They were just chopping heads off, and people could see what they are. They could see ISIS for what it is. People are having a hard time seeing Iran for what it is, which is a brutal, horrific dictatorship that kills gays, that blinds women, and that has had a whole circling campaign around Israel of people firing rockets and killing people. So Iran's public image is very different than ISIS.
And this is something that you spoke to this weekend before. I mean, it was pretty appreciative that you said this weekend before the U.S. operation occurred. Do you see that as what is driving the Democratic divide on this?
Well, look, I think, first of all, a lot of Democrats are very frustrated with Israel and its conduct in Gaza. That shapes a lot of opinion. They're reflexively anti-Bibi Netanyahu, reflexively anti-Trump. So the Democrats are not going to be supportive in general, just reflexively. And the Constitution was violated. The presidents keep violating the Constitution, bombing people with no permission. But I do think that we've got to do a better job of making people understand the bully and the bad guy in that region is Iran. Israel makes mistakes, does things I don't like. But Israel does not have terror proxies around Iran raping people and sending in rockets. But that PR battle is being lost, I think, by Israel, and online social media won by Iran.
I want to play something. Republican Congressman Carlos Jimenez was on with us just last hour. He 100% supports President Trump's move here, but he thinks, and he has previously called for regime change in Iran, he thinks there needs to be more still. Let me play this.
I support 100% what the president has done, all right? I do. But, looking at the future, maybe we're going to be facing a stronger Iran, 4 or 5 years from now. When they find themselves down, they want to negotiate, give me some room, and now I'll come back. I'll go back to the gym, get stronger, and then we'll go at it again when I think I can beat you.
I mean, his point is, he's saying in 4 to 5 years, Iran could come back stronger. That is not a message the president is going to want to hear. I mean, how... It seems at odds with the message coming from the president that Iran's nuclear program has been obliterated and will never exist again. How do you see, what is the divide amongst Republicans here?
Well, I think most Republicans support what the president and the military carried out this weekend. I think you saw in the CNN poll, 82% of Republicans are supporting the action. And I think there's a divide in the party about how long and how far we need to go.
Definitely.
I mean, everybody is against the forever wars. Whenever you hear anybody talking about regime change, that indicates that this is going to be a long-term entanglement, and that's not what Republicans are after. What Republicans want is a surgical strike here to say, let's get in and let's get out. The question is, how far did we go? What really was accomplished? And I think there are some people who look at it and say the nuclear program was absolutely obliterated. And then there are some who are still saying, let's wait and see. Did anything get out before the strike happened? And so there's still very much of a wait and see. This just happened on Saturday.
And the wait and see could take time. I mean, no matter how, and it must be continue to be covered and reported on accurately, and that will continue. But just the assessment of what actually happened, what actually was moved beforehand.
We don't know.
It is not known. And it seems very clear from how J.D. Vance has kind of deflected on that question overnight that the administration doesn't know and isn't saying. Lindsey Graham posted something this morning. Let me read this for you, Van. He wrote, a simple question for the Iranian regime. Is it still your policy to destroy the state of Israel and refuse to acknowledge its right to exist? A ceasefire that leads to peace is wonderful. A ceasefire that allows Iran to regroup and rearm is a step backwards. How can you tell the difference? If Iran recognizes Israel's right to exist. It's an important perspective given Lindsey Graham's very clear stated, hawkish views on Iran and his support and closeness with Donald Trump on this. I do wonder what that perspective means going forward.
Well, I mean, I think he has a good point. I mean, here's what the problem is. Iran has as its slogan, death to America and death to Israel. They have 60% enriched uranium, which is literally just a bump from weapons grade, and we don't know where that stuff is. So we're still in a lot of danger. And now, if you had a functional government, the smartest people in the Democratic Party, smartest people in the Republican Party, and Trump will be sitting down trying to figure this out together, trying to come up with a creative solution. The problem is the president is on his own. He's not listening to any Democrats. Congress is not being briefed. So the best wisdom...
Republicans got a heads up that the operation was going to happen. Democrats did not.
Didn't. So this is a period of maximal peril for the world. And we are not functioning as a collective democracy to solve the problem, which means some good ideas are not on the table, which means we're going to make mistakes. Now, I don't like a country that says death to America and death to Israel. And I certainly don't want them to have a bomb. But how we get out of this mix is not obvious to anybody.
Yeah, it's definitely not clear cut. Just take a look at how things have progressed this morning.
This morning.
Exactly. It's great to see you guys. Thank you both very, very much.